Greetings, listeners and viewers. Your host of the night, Zach, here, introducing you to The Call, our Call of Cthulhu podcast by Twisted Gears Studios. If you're a fan and wish to support, visit our merch shop and Ko-fi page, where members get extra content, fireside chats, discounts on merch, and more. Otherwise, a like, comment, sub, or review in your podcast app of choice is always helpful. But for now, as we left our investigators, having learned new revelations regarding Gaul and themselves, the team seeks aid from allies before plotting their next steps.
Hello there.
I didn't see you come in.
I didn't see you there.
Okay.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Still at the BBRs from last episode.
Yeah.
Talking over things. We didn't take very long of a break, so that way we could keep sort of in the flow of things. We might as well just jump right into while still discussing things.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Althea who was talking about.
Oh, I want to see Gaul's clothes. You did mention that.
Yeah.
Before I finish wrapping up, there's just the last couple things to make sure everyone's aware of, because we are all on the same page here. Simon and Alistair in the room?
Yes, they are.
I would love it if there was some kind of research that could be done into an individual named Nephrin Ka.
Yes, that is not a name that I have heard in any of my research. However, I do also think we need to do a bit more research into what exactly he was writing on the wall.
Now
And now I have a slightly clearer idea of... Now I have a bit of more insight into what that language means. We have several examples of it.
Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing. Two last points. Point number one. Ludwig Prin. His name is inside. The phrase that he had uttered, he had written inside the Mysterious.
We assume it was him.
But he signed it, so I'm gonna go with that he wrote his own name next to his chicken scratch.
Well, it's written in a different... I can't tell if it's the same hand, but it is a different style of writing than the entire rest of the book.
Yes, I don't care about the rest of the book. I care about that segment right there. That segment and that name are similar, but different than the rest of the book. So we can go with the assumption for now that Ludwig Prin wrote the safety at the gate statement. There is no safety at the gates?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why that's important is because the only thing that Gohl didn't say in English was that same phrase.
You said he had another sentence that he said that was very clearly not in English, but also wasn't in ancient Egyptian.
That was what he was saying. That's he was saying that, and then Simon was translating.
When he spoke Egyptian.
Yes.
There was an additional language that he spoke. Do you think that's the other thing we have to... you just triggered a memory for me of something else that we should research, is what that other language is.
Did that, just out of curiosity, that when the parcel tongue type thing that you said
right.
That they were writing, did that sound at all similar to the things they've heard Althea do? Or no?
Because I have used a parcel tongue type of thing before.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it's the same language. That was just a way I'm used to describe this.
There are different kinds of snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same type of tone, but not the same language.
Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's easy to put it.
that's what's interesting about that is that Ludwig did travel to Egypt, and you said you saw a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Was it an Egyptian style pyramid, or more the style that we saw in the well under the Silver Twilight Lodge?
It was more of an Egyptian-style pyramid. The classical idea of when we say pyramid is what we think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem more along those lines.
Egyptian.
Is it possible that you saw some sort of image, some sort of picture, some sort of reflection of the gate that was being referred to?
That's possible. It's very possible. It's not the first time that something like that's happened.
I would like to take some time to research with Alistair, because when we were going through...
Sure you would.
Oh, fuck.
Alistair slightly blushes.
Because when we were going through our vision, we saw constellations.
Yes.
Now you can pinpoint, if you know location and constellation placement, that you might be able to get a time frame or a time
damn.
or a year or, something close.
At least
How
within
long?
a couple hundred years.
Yeah, so if we go by the assumption of it's Egyptian, right? So whatever the constellations we saw over that continent, or on the continent, the country, whatever the
Country.
country.
Most people go the other way around.
Yeah, we could pinpoint when that was supposed to be.
That's awesome.
And if we go by the fact that the language was possibly older than the Egyptian that we are familiar with today, that also might pinpoint further the time period as far as that's concerned.
I have a
Possibly.
question. Sorry, did you have... I don't want to...
I just want to just get these last 2 points out. I'm trying really hard to get these last 2 points out. So, Ludwig Prin, when we asked Gohl about them, he had a foreboding message for us about Ludwig, in that he is the end who is the beginning, who is the end who is the beginning. It's rather threatening. So, as we're looking about, being careful about who the fuck Ludwig Prin is now.
The end and the beginning was when we asked, "Who are you?"
He said it both times.
You are dust, and to dust you shall return.
No,
He does
very
not. He
specifically
knows not
this
what he
statement.
does. He opens the gate.
There's a possibility that either my assumption that Albert Gaul is Augustus Bernard is wrong, or, and this is why I went in the room. Don't worry, I'll get to my second point in a second. My final point in a second. This is why I went in the room. Every time we've talked with Gaul, he has made no reference to the way that he does what he does. Right? He has a call sign. He has a very specific way that he interacts with his victims. Right?
The cheek.
Cheeks.
Yeah.
He doesn't recall doing it. So it's led me to an assumption that perhaps there are, similar to what we've run into in the past with different people taking over and our memories lapsing when other consciousnesses are nearby. Is it not possible that Gohl is experiencing similar things? That maybe there are not multiple personalities that are at play here, or influences that are beyond him, right? Dirk, Skeets, Walter, right? Is it possible that either I'm wrong about the Augustus Bernard thing, or he's got both Augustus Bernard and Ludwig Prin's influences on him? It's hypothetical. I'm just throwing it out there. He claimed to be Ludwig.
I have a follow-up question, but I'm willing to wait if you have another point you'd like to make.
My final point is, if we wish to have more, I think that we know exactly where to find more. He also told us where his home was.
Did he?
Yes.
I was
said that
under the impression that that's when he stopped talking.
he had said that his home is in the standpipe, which I believe is somewhere in the sewers of Boston, where we found him.
Simon had a similar theory that we needed to find.
So with all that on the table, just understand that there is an idea ahead of us that we could get more information from this place. That's everything I know.
Okay. And so I know you have a question that Marion wants to ask, but I want to clarify. Something does happen when you say standpipe in the room, because there are staff around bringing out food, putting in stuff. One of the staff members, a younger gentleman, his name is Jonah. These are all the names of the staff. I made a note of it that you all created the names.
Cool stuff has happened to Jonah previously. Also horrifying things. I hope he's okay.
He seems to be coming along okay.
He hasn't quit yet.
And he's over there and he's just getting himself a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Right? And he's, takes a sip. And as you say standpipe, he sort of, and he turns back. And as you finish your thought, he does not interrupt. He's staff. They know. And he just looks over at the table knowingly. This knowing look on his face.
Jonah?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm terribly sorry. I couldn't help but notice you reacting. Have you heard we were discussing Albert Gaul and his base of operations. Do you know where this is?
Well, yes, ma'am. Just give me 1 second here. I got notes in my phone. I mean, do you think they could be talking about the Bellevue standpipe? Now, when he says that, this is an actual thing. When he says that, all of you are like, it was just hard to connect it. In Boston, on Bellevue Hill, is the Bellevue standpipe, which came into operation around 10, 11 years ago. And it's a large water reservoir for the city of Boston itself, which leads into the sewers and everywhere else. But the Bellevue standpipe, built in 1914. It almost looks like a big fort, this rounded stone structure. Like you'd imagine old prisons when they're built, that's the grayish stone all around. He's like, yeah,
It's on brand.
it's up on Bellevue Hill. There's a big standpipe, although, yeah, it seems to be the water reservoir that supplies water specifically for firefighting and stuff like that to the city of Boston, amongst other things. If that's what they're, that's what they're referring to. Now, of course, that's why I'm saying your characters, with everything going on, remembers this, because it's not something the players would automatically know.
Right.
But your characters do know, that's what this is. Plus, I sort of love that the standpipe is a hugely integral place in Derry, Maine for it.
Yes, it is.
So, and I love, I love Stephen King stuff. So I really wanted to use the standpipe.
So that's where we gotta go at some point.
At some point.
Anyway, that's everything. That's everything I can think of that I got out of that.
Okay. To your point about the possibility of Gaul harboring multiple personalities, multiple entities,
Influenced by.
being influenced by is Augustus Bernard one of them. I do believe that you mentioned in your interrogation noticing when different personalities were speaking or different influences were at the forefront. Is it worth further investigating what are those influences? Because one of them was strong enough to pull your consciousnesses.
It's true. Well, and that's a bit of what the original intent for the last night was to be. Is I wanted to get to the bottom of if Gohl truly was a different individual than whoever killed Bill, and why he does what he does, and how innate that sensation of his deciding as to who to kill is. But this does tie into what I think might be happening with Althea.
Agatha, could you go ahead and roll me a psychoanalysis roll, please? You're going to get some information regardless.
73 out of 78.
Hey!
78. When you start talking about, now that you're giving it some thought, you've had a good night's rest. Yes, everyone, they had rest. They didn't do 20 different things.
We slept! Woo!
They slept. Yay! But Agatha, now that you're thinking about, and it's being brought up about, the different personalities and how this figure grabbed you because it couldn't be kept under control, you realize the reasoning that it was able to do that is Gaul constantly is in a state of keeping that entity down.
Okay.
When you put him into a trance,
He couldn't do
he
it.
couldn't keep it down. He couldn't fully control it
Right.
anymore. Gaul, you realize in your mind, with your second sight and everything else, Gaul, like I said back in Arc 2 at the start, Sin Eaters are prisons. Gaul is a prison for this entity.
She might explode.
Isn't Gaul just asleep right now?
Gaul apparently was asleep and left in the room. You've never seen Gaul sleep,
Oh, God.
right? Sin Eaters don't need a lot of sleep, but Gaul was asleep
Right.
Yeah, but
when you left him.
but it's good that they don't need a lot of sleep, because wouldn't that potentially mean that he actively was needing to keep this thing at bay? So what you put him in the trance, so he wasn't actively keeping it down, and now he's asleep.
Should we go check
Amos throws himself.
I'm assuming I relayed that information to everyone based off of the reaction.
The second she says it, we're all like, gun smoke! We all get up and run downstairs.
Yes, you all
Yeah.
get up
Yeah.
and run downstairs.
Yeah.
and you throw open the door, and Gaul is not in there.
I'm sorry. What?
The door is still locked. There doesn't seem to be any holes or
No
tunnels
vents?
built. There doesn't seem to be any vents. But Gaul is not there.
Do we not have security? Wait, hang on. Security cameras a thing in this?
No.
Nowadays? Oh my god!
The door was the security!
There was 2 locked doors! Okay.
And they're still locked, so they worked.
Alistair, do you mind letting the staff know that Gaul apparently is not in his cell, and
There's no panic-inducing?
ensure that no one is left alone?
And at this point, which I feel bad for having done this. I feel bad for about what I'm about to do. I feel really bad about this, just so everyone knows. But the room was trashed. Right?
Yeah.
You see under the shards of the bed movement. So when you brought it in, you can't see Gaul, and you're shocked. And then you see bit of the debris of the bed move. And then you can tell, oh no, wait, Gaul's under the bed. Sorry. I couldn't resist. Oh my god. You get it, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't resist. Then you
That's
see
fair.
the debris move.
Do you want to say it or lie?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch! Alright,
Yeah, no.
but what crawls out from...
It doesn't really crawl out, but you can see movement when you get a right angle. It's Gaul there, and he seems to be asleep. He seems to have moved, and he gathered stuff up around him that was wrecked. Pieces of the bed, pieces of the desk. He's sort of, you notice now at the initial shock that, oh wait, he is here. He seems to have pulled stuff around him to cover himself up.
Because he's
Right?
probably scared.
Right? He does seem to be asleep, though. You can't see the head.
Yeah.
Or his head, not the head.
God, he might be having like a battle of wills in his sleep right now.
He's created a
Don't we
nest.
all? Doesn't everybody?
I do. I mean... No, I don't.
I think Althea.
Sorry, everyone. I had to do that. It was too
We
funny
should
not to.
probably get someone in there to clean up the room for him, because that's not acceptable as far as what it is.
Maybe see if he's capable, how much of it he's capable of cleaning up on his own.
I mean, everything is broken up and everything. He should be treated like a person.
And
Yes, I just don't know of the of the wisdom of sending someone in when he's still in this state.
I can go in.
I was going to...
no, actually, you finish your thought, and then I'll jump in.
Well, I was just going to say, Althea says, I'll do it. I'm not putting any of my staff in there. And I don't want Cadbury in there.
And then Alistair puts his arm on Agatha's shoulder
Oh,
and says, actually, I had already discussed this with Simon. And once Gaul is more awake, I'm going to get Simon to take him out for a walk, and I'm going to get some staff members in here in order to clean up, put in a new bed. I mean, regardless of who Gaul is. So, yes, this is definitely all going to be taken care of. Okay. I would never have somebody sleeping on the floor. Other than that, Simon from time to time.
That's fair.
What's wrong with floors? It's good for the back.
Not that it's important, but I want to make a suggestion, maybe bolting the bed and furniture down so it can't be flipped again.
Great idea.
Future.
And Althea has just been, while we were discussing this and stuff, and she volunteered or whatever, she's going to have been watching Gaul sleeping under his pile of debris.
his little nest.
And she'll just kind of say in like a lower voice, like she'll put a finger on the wall, that clear plastic, resin, glass, whatever it is.
Yeah. Whatever Skeet made, yeah.
Whatever Ski made. And just kind of be like, yes, I agree. He should be taken care of. And she's just going to scratch a finger, kind of like...
Oh, I don't like that sound.
Oh.
Sorry.
Sorry, Marion.
Yeah. Anyways. Sorry.
Yeah, Alistair's like, of course.
No one? Nobody else.
All right.
Am I the crazy one?
Perhaps we should just leave before we wake him up.
Yeah, I agree. What is our plan for today? We know Officer Caputo is coming by in the early afternoon, so we need to be here. We can't go anywhere. We need to be here and available for that. I have some research I need to do, both on the writing that was on the wall and...
Sorry, can I have a tissue?
Yep.
I got ink on my finger. Sorry.
I have some research that I need to do, both on the writing that was on the wall and Ludwig Prin's book. See if there's anything more to find out there. There are several areas of research that we have discussed needing to cover and needing more information on.
I'll take care of talking to Caputo. Him and I have a lot to talk about. So I can take that part of the day on.
As the rest of you also recall, that Vincent Caputo seems to be in the same mold as Amos, and neither of them seems to see it, as if Amos is the mentor, and Vincent seems to be going down the same path.
I don't know if that's a good thing, but
Better
you
or
do
worse?
seem the two of you seem cut from the same cloth.
Same wingdings, if you will.
I'll take that as
I
a
hope not.
compliment.
And then I have my own research that I want to conduct as well.
And I need to check in with Skeet. He's building a village out of Italian wood. It's a. Anyway, I need to check in. I haven't checked in with him for a while.
When you do, have we ever asked Skeet if he recognizes Gaul from either from Swill's Gullet or from prior to
There. So. No, I don't think we've directly asked. However. Okay, I don't know how to word this. I have seen this before, and I didn't think anything of it until I saw it again last night. So, Skeet is Dirk Peters, and Albert is one of the other three names we've already discussed. That was from the two names from the boat, whatever.
We do know that Skeet does not retain memories of being Walter Corbett.
I don't think his mind does, but I think his body does.
Yeah, that's
And
big.
that's what I'm saying, is I have seen Skeet when in the presence of things that he doesn't understand, but if he is Dirk Peters, he should understand. He functions differently, and I saw Gaul do it last night as well.
So you think that Gaul is repressing the memory of being Augustus Burnham, which makes sense. That
If he's repressing
I can't
another
imagine
entity
that,
too.
From what we do know of that voyage, I can't imagine there being many memories from that voyage anyone would want to remember.
Doesn't look like it. No, I believe that there's something there. So I don't know if they would recognize each other in the state, but physically, there's something about their body memory that does know each other. Skeet has been drawn to him a few times.
That is a fair point, for sure.
And something about Simon. Although I think that has more to do with the Sin Eater than anything else, but you were unconscious. The first time I saw it that I didn't think anything of it is he was looking over your unconscious body when we first pulled you into the estate.
No.
Ski had a different mannerism when no one was looking than when he realized someone was there.
Oh.
But he doesn't remember it.
Simon?
Skeet seems to be a fixer. Whatever he can... Maybe he was trying to think of ways to fix me. Although, his eyes open up. What could that mean?
Gaul also mentioned fixing things. He mentioned that was his purpose, that was his job, that was his goal, was to fix things. And Skeet has shown an almost obsessive characteristic, obsessive need to fix things.
Amos is going to write on a notepad real quick. He's going to slide a note over to Agatha to ask her a question privately.
Okay.
Okay.
How honest would you like me to be with the group about something you don't know yet?
If I don't know, that's your call. That's your call. I'll play with whatever you give me, my guy. Thanks for
Don't write
that.
down. Don't hate me.
Are you going to write it down or are you going to tell me?
It's a lot to write down.
Okay, that's
I'll just say, don't hate me.
I'm not going to hate you.
We're talking about fixers.
Well, because if Gaul sees that as his role, as his job, he implied that is what a Sin Eater is for.
Yeah.
Now, you and Simon, I'm assuming Simon, I apologize if this is out of
Marion, you couldn't offend me if you tried.
This is probably true. But neither of you have felt an increased desire to set the world to rights. Have you?
Yeah, that's
That's what you think that means by fixing.
yeah.
He claimed so. You're on to
that
something.
being said, Skeet does.
Yeah.
He sees. When we met him in Swill's Gullet, he
Gohl says we will.
Hmm.
That one day, Simon and I will get to that point. I don't know where he gets that confidence from, but we will.
Oh, it's because we're heroes, man. It's because it just takes the right little thing. I mean, I've always felt like there should be more, and I mean, I've been around long enough that there should be. Yeah, but I'm sure that if the sacrifice play had to be made, it'd be either me or you, or Alistair.
Keep trying to fix that from a detective, for Christ's sakes. I can't even work in the police department because they're all busted up.
May I
It's
interject?
possible that the personality to become a Sin Eater is someone who already has the inclination to help, to solve problems, to intervene, and whatever process it is, and the actions of doing so as a Sin Eater only enhance the desire.
So we're going by the assumption that fixing something into a positive. What if something is fixing for the goal that was set? So if the goal was set to do a ritual to do something, in our opinion, would be bad, but it's broken and they're fixing it, we're all assuming it means something positive.
Barnabas Jones thought he would be fixing things.
That's right. So you don't know if what he means by fixing, is it in a positive way or is it in a negative way? We're always assuming it's a positive.
At the moment, the reason for my train of thought was to further link Skeet with Gaul.
Uh-huh.
Into the definition of fix in this context.
Well, since you're onto something, he said something about you last night.
Okay.
We're putting all the cards out on the table.
All right.
We've all got to trust each other, right?
Yeah.
So and again,
Of course.
in the same way that I have no intention of throwing you and your family lineage under the bus, Althea, but I'm going to call it as I see it. That book, we're going to talk about that book later, but there's something there. We're talking about Sin Eaters and fixing things, and you're asking the question, what does that mean? Is it a fix? Is it a correction to another plan that someone else has? Is a fix good or bad? Yeah, all good questions, and he refers to you and myself, Simon, as fixers. He refers to you as someone that breaks things.
Breaks things in what context? Like, how did he mean? What was he like when he said it?
Clear, non-stuttery, determined, and certain. That in the way that he fixes things, and he'll kind of grab onto your upper arm and kind of squeeze, referencing the conversation that we had in private last night.
Yeah.
In the way that he thinks he fixes things, you break them.
So I'm the opposite. He thinks I'm the opposite to what he is doing.
I don't know.
Just out of curiosity, when Gaul was saying, we fix things, we will fix things, was he definitely referring to we as you, him, and Simon? Or was he just saying we as in himself
people
and
inside his body?
someone else? Because...
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I do want to bring us back, though, to... We still need quite a bit more information.
Oh, yeah.
So we need to figure out what are we going to be looking into over the next few hours today. You said you're going to go talk to Ski.
Yes.
Is there anything... We've been assuming that Skeet is not a Sin Eater. Although he does display both the personality traits and the
High metabolism.
and the unexpectedly long life.
Hang on a second.
He's in very good health.
Now, wait a second. Here's an outlandish idea. You're onto something there, I think. Or at least you've got me thinking about something. Simon, Sin Eaters, is it something to do with their body, or is it something to do with, for lack of a better term, the metaphysical, like the soul, whatever, the innards? Is it a body thing, or is it not?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's pretty hard to quantify faith.
Yeah.
So taking the metaphysical out of it, it's definitely from our research, especially with the information that was given from Barnabas Jones, to do with different concentrations of whatever makes us human is different in different people, and people with a larger concentration of that type of genetics. I don't care if it hasn't been talked about yet, but yeah, the genetics generally have a proliferation toward being a sin eater or being more resilient or being as... Now, that could be factored in by metaphysical as well, for sure. But I mean, I don't really take that into account.
I ask it. What's in the basement of Walter Corbett's house?
So, from the research, what I'll do is I have a research group on it.
Yeah.
And I'll get them to come review the findings with us.
Weren't we under the impression that, as of this moment, obviously the findings can confirm or deny, that the essence of Walter Corbett is in that house?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, great.
So what... sorry. Sorry to cut you off, Amos. But yeah, so just a jot note form of it is that from all the information that you have given us and from the information that you've had, Walter Corbett was trying to attempt some kind of ritual to ascend to something more.
Right.
He wanted power,
100%.
right? Mm-hmm. So whatever this ritual was created the skeet that we know and love.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I love that guy.
It's his original body.
That's his original body, and he seems to have the muscle memory, which is fine, but back to talking about Walter Corbett in the basement. That's when Barnabas and Heinrich and Father O'Malley went down and tried to disrupt that ritual, and which created the time loop that Father O'Malley is constantly blowing his head off in, right? To keep it sort of locked in that little timey-wimey place. Yeah. But it keeps that ascension from happening. So what basically is in that basement is Walter Corbett's ascended form, which seems to have closely looked like what came out of that big well.
Yes.
That you had discussed.
Yeah. Now here's why I'm bringing it up. We've seen Skeet bleed red.
Yes.
The black ichor has something to do with the blood of sin eaters. Walter Corbett's blood specifically.
Yeah. So
So being a sin eater doesn't have to do with the body.
Well, maybe part of the ritual was it just left that body and all the essence was taken in to create some kind of ascended form. Because Barnabas Jones...
Because that black ichor does create copies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when it was properly worked on.
Sure.
Right? They had to get the right formula. They had to get the right mix because...
Clear versus black.
Yeah, they had to get that right concentration because the slugs themselves, whenever left to their own devices, usually, as we noticed, like the dining hall, the staff dining hall, would create monsters.
Yes.
Whereas the case of the multiple skeets... generally derived from those vats that you had described that they had actually worked on.
But the creature in the house is a monster.
The creature in the house is a monster because it's whatever the ascended form is. Because Barnabas had talked about that Dirk Peters, or Walter Corbett, had seen the face of God. And he wanted to become a god himself. So I think he was trying to become what was in the well.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
So the house is like the failed first attempt at duplicating or using the slugs of the ichor or whatever. And
no, the house is the failed first attempt at ascension.
Well,
so he tried to ascend and then he tried to create copies of himself?
No. From the timelines that we have is Walter Corbett and amongst whoever else was in the line, because we still have a sketchy history point of this. The ascension thing came last because he's still there.
Okay.
And it's not it's not a failed ritual.
Yeah.
It's just put on hold.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So he's caught in whatever form.
He has succeeded. Father O'Malley just stopped.
He's locked away.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the point I'm trying to get at is there's something that you had said there, Marion, about whatever it is that's inside Gohl or us here. That I think the ability of a Sin Eater attaches itself to the person, not the chassis, the body that they're inhabiting.
Yeah.
So it's possible that one of the forms that is within Gohl is the Sin Eater.
I no longer have a question that I think you should ask Skeet.
I need to check in with him. I also need to check in with Cadbury and with the staff as well. So.
Oh, that's a lot of checking in.
If we're about to break apart, I just want to ask that we're on the same page. I'll wait for Caputo and I'll spend my time working with him. If it comes up that him and I want to go and inspect the standpipe, would any of you like to wait until you were available?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. I'll make sure that if that comes up, I'll say it.
Definitely ask them about the standpipe, too.
Yes.
It might
It
be
will be
worth...
brought up.
Simon had mentioned as well looking into some of the other locations that Gaul had done his ritual, done his work in the sewers. We never specifically found out the ritual that we stumbled across in the sewers, where that was and whether it was in any sort of important location. It may, for all we know, be very close to the standpipe.
I think that's going to be, yeah.
Okay, I know what I'm looking into.
Yep. Same.
I do, too.
So everyone has a general point of what their characters are going to be doing moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. We're going to take it bit by bit as you all sort of disperse out of the labour. But for a quick second, I'm going to stay with Althea. Because as everyone's leaving the labour, Simon taps you on the shoulder and says, when they go, let's just have a quick chat. I need to clarify something for you. And he says it really low. I need to clarify something for you in particular.
Okay.
Right? And everyone else just sort of must.
No, I just...
just like...
You are giggling at
I just want to see what happens. That's all.
Alistair.
So Alistair is sort of...
Oh, Simon will tell Alistair.
No. I mean, from a player perspective, I want to see what happens. I know what I'm doing as my character.
And there's...
Sorry, that sounded bad.
Wow!
Calm down, Divot.
Sorry.
Oh, she's determined now.
A different divot.
Okay, so...
Of a different kind. Anyway.
Different chambers.
Okay, now come on.
Different chamber secrets.
Roll it in. You and Simon.
Anyway.
It's just the conversation, people. I don't know what you're going on about.
Anyway.
Not these two.
Yes, Simon?
Yep. Yes, Simon.
Wow.
Not what I was expecting.
Yeah, so I just want you to be aware, even though we had discussed this previously, that you do understand I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Me and Alistair, upon our original agreement, have kept an eye on you to make sure the power of the Yellow King, he outright says it, that the power of the Yellow King doesn't take precedence in your mind and soul. You made us agree that if we ever found that it had gone too far, or that you weren't yourself anymore, that we would take care of it. So I'm going to have a talk with Amos and everyone else to drop discussions about the Yellow King. You are taken care of. You have nothing to worry about, as you know.
I appreciate that, Simon.
Of course.
I do, honestly, I will say, over these last few months, I feel more like myself than I have for a very long time.
Yeah, that's disconcerting.
Good.
It's basically, we have been watching, and I've been keeping a little bit of distance, of course, but I feel it would be a good idea if me and you would spend time together and I could teach you methods in how to control what is happening to you. It seems we're getting a bit back to an apex point where it might be seeming to a little bit of struggle coming from it. The point is, at some point, as we've discussed off screen, character-wise, as we've discussed, we will figure out how to corrupt that ritual. We will figure out from your mother's book how we can change it and we can set everything right again. But I need you strong enough to be able to control that power.
I am strong enough to control it.
I have no doubt.
Yes. I'm definitely feeling strong enough to control it, Simon.
Now, say it for a third time and mean it.
I definitely feel strong enough to control it.
Great. You've said it 3 times, therefore it's true. And it's the way he looks at you when he says it. Like, you've said it 3 times, therefore it's true.
Yeah.
You really do feel it's true. There's something that he just did that you do really feel it's true. Now, I know you got stuff to do. I'm going to go try on some more blouses.
Jesus Christ.
Perhaps it would be a good idea to dump out at least half of that bottle in your holster as well. Maybe.
Dump out half? What?
It's like paint thinner, Simon.
Yeah. Listen, I got the metabolism of a man a tenth of my age.
How old are you?
Listen, my body breaks it down really fast.
All right, fine.
We're not drinking your stock?
Can you at least tuck your shirt in?
My God. No. No, of course not. Listen, I give people what they want. And he undoes a button.
Oh my God.
Definitely more like Derek than any other guy.
Fair enough.
Amazing.
Oh, well, I wouldn't want to be able to control what happens under my own roof. Thank you, Simon. I will see you later.
Of course, of course. Okay.
It's funny.
Yes. You okay with that conversation? You're just like,
Yeah,
No, that's cute.
I
like
definitely.
it.
that was a
feel
cute.
strong.
I don't understand.
Oh, it's just.
Look at even Liz's face was like,
I'm entertained.
yes, there we go. A little bit of connection. But so since I did that little part with you, and there's a pile of people you want to talk to, but we're going to streamline some of that, unless it's very important information. I'm actually going to do you last, and I'm going to do everyone else because we just had that little scene with you. Okay, I am going to roll a d6. 1 to 2 Agatha, 3 to 4 Amos.
Why don't we start with Marion?
Sure.
She just was asleep for the past 3 episodes.
Sorry. Wait.
Oh.
Oh, that's what you meant.
You were.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Let's go to Marion. Let's go to Marion. No, that's a fair point. Marion,
Hi.
what would you like to be working on?
I'm going to start with the chicken scratch that we saw on Gaul's wall. Because we got the photo from the staff. So I made a note that with a 4-hour block of time, I can read it. Hear what it says.
Oh, you got the photo? Great. That makes sense. Perfect.
I'm
assuming that
100% yes.
I assume if there's a photo, whoever needs it at any specific point.
Yep.
can have it.
Okay.
Unless I specify otherwise, there's no reason why I would be keeping any photo secret.
Sweet.
Okay. So, that's fair enough. I'm just going to get you to, should it be code breaking or should it be
Break coding.
library use? Because I would think you'd go to the library and you'd be
would go to the
looking up
library.
sources and trying to find ways to figure it out, especially in tactile writing.
Yeah.
I know that's not the proper name for it, but
What is the proper name?
I would use it if I knew.
That's fair, because I was going to say, tactile writing sounds like a good term for it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to go with. I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
I'm a linguist myself.
I see.
I'm just going to go ahead and have you roll me a library use, actually.
Okay. Go with the tiny dice. And that is a 2.
A 2%.
Damn! The little dice are taking off.
Put a ticket in library use. Sure.
I did.
That's definitely an extreme success because your library use is high.
Very high.
What is it?
It's 80, which means an extreme success has to be is a 16 or less.
Yeah. It is.
It's a good skill.
She just takes the information in by osmosis.
An extreme is 1/5 or less, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And at a 16,
Yep.
it's an extreme of an extreme. I think that's how math works.
Critical success.
Yeah, it's a critical of a critical.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. You find some. I don't need to come up with names for it, but you find some linguistics books and some different accounts of different types of writing, stuff like that, in a properly done section that has been perfectly organized by
I'm
Simon.
just thinking about that occult section in the episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's like, oh, this section over here, restricted.
Yeah, restricted is now. The restricted section in this place has got like
The whole section is restricted.
got like other stuff. But you start getting the idea of okay, the ridge, okay, so this could be this, and you start running along. And I'm not going to pull out any visions or stuff like that. But what the writing seems to say, it seems to be calling something. It's this idea of summoning for help, is what it seems to be. I'm not talking about a protection, but literally a summoning of something. Right? Similar to when you had one of the books with the chicken scratches and you were making little notes of it, and you accidentally opened up the cloud where the Baya keys were trying to get in. It's something about summoning something.
Baya keys have how Regal has been very helpful. We might have also been summoning help at that point. We just did not. We were not very good at being clear about what kind of help we wanted, or we could have been summoning Baya keys. I don't know.
Now the thing is, different from in the book, the scratches that the picture is taken care of, and having a picture is very important. This is how I'm going to do pictures from now on, by the way. It's
Great.
like you take the picture, it's going to be developed for like next day. Cool.
Great.
Because that way we're not dealing with it's all undeveloped. But what was on the wall that Gaul was putting there is a different kind of summoning thing. It wasn't for like. And I know the longer we're playing, it seems like your characters are becoming really comfortable with certain mythos things, and I'm sort of okay with that because it's the natural progression of the game that we've been playing for over 5 years.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, it's 7 years. It needs to go somewhere, and this is where it's going.
Each one of us is playing mythos, so.
But it's seeming to summon something different, but with a critical of a critical. While I'm going to say you also know there was the wax outline in Gaul's book, but if this is okay from Althea's point of view, your Aloysius's book, that's part of it's the yellow book that's in your control, but it's that other book could be locked away or accessible to everybody, but it's locked away. You knew there was chicken scratches in there, and you start looking through the lines and it's more of a feeling than it is a language. It's like, oh, okay, calling for help. It's not like ... dash dash ... It's not that. You start going through it and you see like there's different layouts of the mansion on the hill as if it was different houses and stuff like that, like different orientations.
In Aloysius's book.
In Aloysius's sketchbook. It's not a sketchbook, but his journal, what it was that, and there was these scratches. You now, I would like you're going to get information anyway. I'm going to clarify that. But I'd like you to roll me a magic use check.
Ooh.
Not that you're casting it, but I'm using it as the knowledge of it.
Ooh, that's not good. That's 89 out of 40.
89 out of 40. Can you go ahead and roll me a Cthulhu Mythos check as well on top of
I
that?
use different dice for that.
Damn.
Because it's a bit of different. You're going to get information anyway, but it's a bit different.
That is a 66 out of my Cthulhu Mythos. It's definitely not that high. It's a 20.
Yeah, which is still...
It's pretty high for Cthulhu Mythos.
Yeah.
Mythos.
Mythos?
Mythos. I had a lisp. I had a lisp at one point in my life.
Mythos.
Mythos. Mythos. That one's correct.
That was correct.
Yeah.
Mythos.
But
Thanks,
anyway,
that my
yes,
throat was
66
parched.
out of 20.
You realize that in Aloysius's book, there's also, it's like a type of summoning something, but it's not really a Baya key and it's not really whatever Gaul was trying to do. Written in it and the way it's laid out, and you can tell just from the way it is, and you don't know how you can tell, but you can just tell that there is a summoning there that's written with love to protect somebody. Right? And to protect somebody. Some kind of guardian that would watch over somebody. Somebody very important to Aloysius Goodyear.
Wonder who that is.
Is there anything else on the page that has that summoning spell on it?
Anything else on the page? There is a
something
layout.
else?
All the pages have sort of like a layout
Just
of the house and different rooms and stuff like that.
Is there anything in particular I notice about that layout?
You notice that when you're skimming through the book, because the house is so big,
Yeah.
it's like almost even like it's multiple layouts that sort of connect, because one page couldn't fit it would be so tiny. But it's sort of, oh no, I've been then down this hallway and I've seen this and this is this and this is this. This room's here though. You're not super familiar with the estate, it can be a bit confusing. The one thing you do notice is there's no mention of a hedge maze.
Of course not. There's no hedge maze.
Exactly. Is that was weird, sorry. Is that
Running joke.
everything for your...
If that's all I have time for, but if I have time for other things.
No, that's your block of that time.
Yeah,
But I
okay.
mean, you didn't want to try to go talk to somebody either.
No.
Okay,
Not as
so I'm going to say that's your block of time.
Yeah.
Is that fair? And then I'm going to move on to Agatha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm moving on to you.
Okay.
And what were you planning on doing?
I'm with Alistair. Just gonna leave that out there right now. And I'm going to try and figure out with the vision general location, time of when the vision was supposed to take place. I also want to use my, what is it? Not my slimy glyphs. What is it called? My moist glyphs.
The glyphs of sanity!
Book.
Sanity!
To see if there's any reference to the vision in that book, because that's where I saw Egyptian writing. Wasn't it? Oh, yeah. No, that was that book.
It was,
On the sarcophagus around
It was on the circle. Oh, okay.
yeah, it's weird writing in the book. It's not, there's more runes and stuff like that. It's hard to pick out, yeah. It's not just written in Egyptian.
But we still have the sarcophagus, right?
Yes.
See
Yeah,
if there's
that
any
wasn't taken
reference.
away.
Okay, see if there's any reference on the sarcophagus, because sometimes sarcophagus are used to tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
To see if that has any mention of what we had witnessed.
Can you roll me a library use, please?
Oh, God, my
Well, that's sort of like the
terrible.
research
If
roll.
I finish early, I'll help her out.
Your block
But,
time is...
yeah, no, I figured I wouldn't.
37 out of 31, but I'm willing to burn luck for that. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
My library use is my favorite skill.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to move on from Agatha, and I'm going to give the information she found out at the end of the episode because I think it's more appropriate. So I'm going to move right on to Amos as Vincent Caputo and Officer Ricky shows up.
Sweet.
So you're, did you want to wait for them on the front, out on the front steps?
Yeah, I'll be on the front step.
Having a smoke.
Having a smoke. Waiting for them to show up.
Just chain smoking on the...
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got a whole plinth there made just for the butts.
Nice.
Yes. Skeet made it well. You don't know where the butts go, but they go.
It's the 1920s. Doctors were prescribing it.
Plinth?
You're smoking for two now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, points. Yeah, here's a Grecian
It's the
point.
whole thing.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Oh, you're pregnant. You're smoking for two now.
Wow. I mean, back then, yeah.
So bad.
So bad. We are, so you're sitting on the front steps, and like I said, it's like I've described it multiple times, but it's a long stretch of steps on the way down. You're sitting down, having a smoke, waiting for them to show up, and you see, not a cop car, but you do see a little bit more of a run-down one, but it is a Packard Twin Six. You do see a Packard Twin Six. A little bit more run down, like taken care of by potentially Vincent Caputo or with the help of Officer Ricky. And they pull up around, and Officer Ricky is driving, and he comes out and he has his cane, because he has a cane to help him walk. And he has little glasses and he has a book with him. He seems to be really, I think I've described him before, but he seems to be very analytical and he likes to take proper notes, and he's trying to, the professionalism of it. And then the door opens and out slides the legs of Vincent Caputo, Detective Vincent Caputo. And he has on a trench coat. It's not beige in color, of course. And it's weird that you and him don't really recognize what's happening. And you see him as he's getting out. He turns and he sits. And you see him just take out a flask. Take a little swig, close the flask. Put it in. He stands up, takes out a cigarette case, flicks out a smoke.
My man's gonna get used to murder and death. This is not a healthy lifestyle. I don't promote this.
And they both look upstairs, the steps.
Good choice of cars.
Okay. And do you want to walk down and meet them? Or
Yeah.
Are they gonna, yeah. So, because Officer Ricky would have a hell of a time with steps sometimes. I mean, he would just have to take his time more often.
Jesus.
What? He's alive.
Yeah.
He's doing his job.
Yeah.
Right? His family's well supported by...
Wealthiest policeman on the force.
Maybe he judges wealth by friends.
Maybe.
Aww.
It's easy to do when you do it okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they come down, you're all standing around the car.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, like, between the car and the steps. And Vincent's, just, raises his head in a greeting,
I'm
Takes
going to have a manila envelope with me. And in the manila envelope is going to be a little report that I'll have done up that just has, just bits of information, because I know that they've been after Arquipus Enterprises as well, correct? But, from more of the illegal business, shady shit. So I'll have some information showing that, but the photo that's going to be in there is going to be of the Red Eye's license plate. I'll have made a note of it in my own book as well, but they'll have the actual photo. And I think it would be funny if, this is crazy too much, that's the garage door is off to the side where Skeet's doing tricks, and probably somewhere in the conversation you could glance over to the garage and see that there is a red car in there. I'll be like, oh, don't know where the car went, man.
That's fair. But we'll have the conversation.
Anything of, before they come over, I would have checked with Skeet. Is there anything in the car that's evidence? Anything that could be perceived as evidence about Jimmy Three Thumbs, the thugs, any of that stuff? Is there anything of use in the
I haven't, Skeet's just like, sorry, man, sorry. I really haven't had a chance to go through it.
Okay.
Right. It's only, I've been... Yeah, but I'll take a quick look through. You never know.
Okay.
You never know.
But I will make sure to leave out bits of information such as the Hound of Tindalos.
He doesn't want to hear that shit.
Tell me humans did it.
He's aware that they deal with cultist shit, yeah?
He's aware.
Okay, so I won't shy away from the fact that, they're crazy cult people, right?
He's aware of the supernatural things that seem to follow your whole problematic group around. What happens is you throw him the bones of actual crimes that he can investigate and arrest people. So it's an unspoken agreement, whereas I get you're messing around with messed up stuff. That's on you. Putting people away, that's on me.
There was also the evidence we had found of the forged licenses that ties them to Arquipus.
Yes.
So I'll give him that information as well.
Mm-hmm. So what happens is, that's all in the manila envelope.
Correct.
And you hand it to Caputo, and Caputo, without looking at it, hands it over to Ricky. And Ricky immediately opens it up and starts going through it. And Caputo's just like, these red eyes. You gotta get this Frank Hartree.
Yeah.
Oh my. I mean, I don't know. I know that there was a car chase, but come on. There was stuff wrecked all over the place. I don't want to know. But and the farmer you told me to check on. I mean, he was scared half to death.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey man, if they weren't doing weird shit, if they weren't doing weird stuff in the middle of nowhere, there wouldn't have been no problems. So,
He was just driving a tractor. Yeah.
Tell that
Weird barber stuff, I guess.
Fred, what's his nuts there?
We did agree that Jimmy Three Thumbs is in the hospital, right?
Yes.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, so Jimmy Three Thumbs seemed to be in some kind of comatose state, so we can't really get much out of him. Also, the nurses won't let me in to inspect him, apparently because of his rights. Understandably, I mean, it's fluid. You know, I mean, we got to solve the crimes. But why is he called Three Thumbs? I mean,
God damn it! You have no idea.
I haven't been able.
I was going to ask you. You got no records to confirm whether or not why.
I got no records to confirm one way or another. I no records to confirm one way or another. I tell you what, though,
God damn it!
And he's like, ah! It is. I tell you, it's on the top of my plate. It's on the top of my files.
There was nothing in his car that showed anything about having 3 thumbs. No gloves. Nobody in the not even
His
the collection.
car? And that's when the screen pans over and he got the back end of the red car. But I don't think we found his car.
Nah, something happened to it. You know, remember all the Birminghams were all mucked up? Yeah, something happened to all the vehicles on their way out. It's a crying shame there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see how this is going. I see how this is going. Let me know if you find anything out about 3 thumbs. I mean, honestly. I mean, you gotta get a name like that. I don't know. Maybe he's just clumsy.
And what?
Might be it.
all thumbs.
3 thumbs. He's all thumbs, maybe.
Maybe he.
Or maybe he's just a little clumsy, you know? He's not all thumbs, he's only got 3.
Maybe he was like, if I call myself Three Thumbs, people are gonna remember me.
He just made up a random name so people would know him.
I was just thinking maybe he was that clumsy and shot off 3 of his friends' thumbs or some bullshit like that. There you go.
He wasn't the 3 thumb guy. It was the other guy.
the other guy.
The 3 thumb guy.
Yeah. It's the Dread Pirate Roberts of thumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is there anywhere else that, once Ricky's done with the files here, is there anything else on the go or anything? Is there anything in the files of anywhere you need us to check out or go to, or is it just fucking research?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that's a leading question. Everyone knows it is, but I don't want us to forget.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first things first, I just want to inquire, why the house call? Everything all right? Like, usually you wait for me to bring this stuff to you.
Well, to be honest, there's been a few, there's just been a few of the people on the force that have noticed us at crime scenes conversing. And some people are questioning my commitment. Maybe I'm being unduly influenced by, as he stretches his arm across the estate, of the rich and powerful. You do know they think of you as like a lackey for the good years. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's how they look at it. Because you're like the muscle to Althea's, whatever Althea has.
Handbag. Purse. Money purse. There you go.
Burst.
There's so much to unpack there.
Yeah. I'm not a big packer myself.
They don't... If it's not this, it's something else. So even before last year, there was it was because I wasn't rich enough. Now it's because I'm associated with too much richness. No matter what happens, I'm not a fan of me looking around, apparently. I don't know. There was reasons why people didn't like me being around last time. Probably the liquor and the cigarettes, which hasn't changed, by the way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, interesting. Moving on. So anyway, fuck them.
Yeah, maybe it's just people don't like it. That's okay, though. That's not important. Because...
Nope.
No.
Well, that's pretty straight on. So anyway, there's that. Yeah. I'm getting there. Yeah, so... Anyway, fuck them. But here's the other thing. Okay, so you're talking with me frequently enough, and they're all concerned and shit. Have you been making arrests?
Oh, of course I've been making arrests, but now the discussion is becoming, making the arrests of the people that wants to have arrested. I mean, there's been rumors going around of all this land being bought up. There's something big coming. The problem with the weird gas implosion at some lodge, You see where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be more prudent if I just came on by and we could have the chat here.
Yeah.
Right? And that way, but, I mean, in the end, nobody's really questioning hard. Nobody's, questioning what it is, but just trying to cut down.
No one's belittling the work that you've been doing because of it?
Yeah, and the police commissioner doesn't seem to have a problem either. He seems to be, pretty straightforward and in agreement with the arrests are what matter and stuff like that. Like, there's nothing held against the New England Center of Antiquities or the Goodyear Empire, if you will. If anything, it seems like the road is a little bit paved.
Amos tries his best not to roll his eyes.
If you know what I mean.
Now it's pay for the oranges.
Actually, just kind of glare in the sense of just like, yep. Oh, don't worry. I've noticed, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I think we see eye to eye, but I mean, maybe that's a fight for another day.
At the end of the day, we're chasing the people that did this, right? I don't exactly. The police force is not exactly paying me to do shit, right? I don't know if you recall.
No,
about
clearly.
A year ago. No. About a year ago, I was blown out of a window. Right, my apartment gone.
Yeah, it's a very lucky recovery for you.
Well, that's a different conversation. So, don't exactly have the ability to afford repairs and things like that myself. So, is it a handout? 100%. I'm taking it 100%. It's every day you get, your apartment blown.
Oh, I'd take the handout too. I mean, I'm not gonna. They're not gonna offer it to me. They've already got.
I was gonna say,
They've already got their PI.
Ricky giving anyone the side eye.
I kind of try my best not to look over at Ricky. Be like,
The one time you do take a look over, Ricky is sort of doing this, the little side eye. Very slight. Could just be a tremor from his vicious injury.
Yep. That sounds right. Anyway,
Terrible. What happened?
so you're telling me that for the foreseeable future, our conversations are best had here at the estate. Yeah.
I think here at the estate, or maybe just there's a
Mutual
Irish
place.
bar in town,
Yeah.
O'Reilly's. We can just
O'Reilly's.
I'll give a call to the manor there, so the message will be passed in, and we'll meet up at O'Reilly's, have a pint, figure it out.
Yep, good plan. I like that plan. All right, same sort of thing. Well, back to your other question, because that's good to know. Fuck. Anyway. Yeah. That's for me to think about later. No, the estate conversation.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, the big thing is, remember about a year ago, there was that crazy storm. It was like the same day that my apartment blew up.
Yeah, I believe.
There was the explosion at the library.
Yeah.
Bunch of crazy people.
Yeah, the demolitions guy blew himself up.
Yeah.
We found pieces of him, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that I talked about that there was a perp that we were chasing down in the sewers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've got a lead on what he was doing there, so I'm going to need to ask if you're comfortable with giving my team and I either permission or some kind of assistance on checking out the Bellevue standpipe.
Bellevue standpipe. Oh, up on Bellevue Hill there.
Yeah.
I think that's municipal. The municipality takes care of that. Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll grease some wheels.
Yeah.
I'll backdate some documents to already have the permission granted. It's not really being guarded or anything, though. But I'll do a little bit of research into it. But I would say, feel free to go up there. I believe there's just a security guard. Talk your way through. And I'll make sure that documents are put in place that you're allowed in there from the begin with anyway.
Sounds good.
I'm sure the commissioner will sign off on it, because clearly he will. Right?
And Amos will, in fact, roll his eyes and be like, yup.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will.
It is a brave new world.
Fuck me. Thank you for listening to The Call. It's that time again. Events and the holidays are putting us on a break for a bit. Our next episode of The Call will be Tuesday, January 21st, with our sci-fi podcast Spacers coming back Tuesday, January 14th. As usual, we want to thank all of our donators over on Ko-fi, including Noah, 368 Trenchcoat, Ed Lore, Rosa, Tyler, The Weejay, James, Matt Calgill, Blizzard Warning, Sydney, Baba Yaga, Preston, TJ, Alec, No Demons Allowed, Autumn, Roland Arts, and Chris H. Your players for tonight were Elizabeth Wells, Janessa Coles, Lindsay Delansky, and Zach Barrett. Your GM or keeper was Derek Snow. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you next year.